hot in here. Gotta turn the AC back on. Summertime in DC. Hey, what's up? This is Pete, and welcome back to Underdog Garage. It's a stormy night here out at the garage, so if you hear a thunder clap in the background, that's why. And if you see me jolt up in the air, that's why, because it would probably scare the crap out of me. Tonight, we're getting into part 5 of the Miata Rust Repair series, where we'll actually be installing the rear quarter panel over the rocker panel. This is the final piece of getting this job pretty much completed. It's been a really challenging project for me. The biggest thing I've been trying to focus on is fitment, and when it's all said and done, that it looks like this never happened and it looks like the original panel. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into installing this rear quarter panel. The first thing I had to do was mark roughly where my cut line on the patch panel would be, leaving a little excess metal to grind back later for tight fitment. Then I marked the cut line and cut away. Because of the panel curves, I had to use a different section of my work table to finish the cut. I deburr the edges so I don't risk cutting myself. Next, I start cleaning the metal on the car. I need as much bare metal as possible to get a clean weld. Offering up the panel, I start marking areas where I think I need to remove metal. I have to be careful not to remove too much so there's minimal gap. Panel ground back, I start marking where the spot weld should be placed using a Sharpie marker. This is based on memory from where the previous welds were. Next, I drill out the holes on the patch panel for the spot welds. I used a 5/16 drill bit for these holes since they were a similar size to the old welds. Some parts of the patch panel were sticking out too much and not lining up quite right. So I used a sandbag and a metal hammer to knock certain sections back. Then I take the panel over to check its fitment again. I make sure everything is lining up as best as possible. Next, I prep the patch panel for welding. I grind back the galvanization so it's bare metal. I need the metal as clean as possible to get a good weld. With the metal prepped, I can now put the panel in place. I offer it up and adjust and adjust and adjust some more, all until it fits perfectly right. This patch panel was 20 gauge, so I set my welder to the specified settings for the gauge type. My plan was to start at the top of the panel and work my way down the sides to the bottom. Taking my time, I start tacking in the panel. Each tack gets set a few inches from each other. I use air from the air gun to help the quarter panel cool faster between welds. So I welded the first plug welds at the front nose of the panel. When the panel cools, I come back and overlap my previous tack weld, creating a stitch weld. Once I had started going down the front left side of the patch panel, I start welding the plug welds in the wheel arch, working my way from the top to the bottom. Working my way down, I had to brace the bottom edge of the quarter panel so it sat flat against the rocker panel while I welded it in. That worked okay for a while, but then I had to switch to a floor jack for support. Last, I start hitting the underside welds. This was by far the hardest part for me. There was poor lighting and I found it a real challenge to weld in this position. A few final tacks around the panel and it was finally in. All right, so you can see we've gotten our quarter panel installed onto the Miata. Everything is looking great. The stitch weld across the top is looking awesome. Once I grind that down, it'll be nice and smooth and virtually seamless. We'll have to do a little bit of body work to kind of blend everything together, but overall I'm really happy with how it came out. I think the biggest thing that I had to focus on with this panel was fitment. You know, you only get one shot at this, and so I really wanted to make sure that body line, that door line was perfect and lining up just right. Maybe a little bit receded so that, you know, we could do a little bit of filling with body work to kind of blend it all together. But overall, that was the big thing that I wanted to focus on. The biggest challenge I had was doing the plug welds on the underside. I don't know about you, but I kind of struggle with plug welds. I have trouble filling them completely while I'm welding. For me, like having to do that upside down was just a real big challenge for me. So it's definitely something I need to work on. But it's something for you to keep in mind if you're tackling this yourself. But other than that, I'm super happy with the results. All right, that's it for part 5 of the Miata Rust Repair series. Thanks so much for hanging out with me this evening and checking out the video. We really appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss more videos, including part 6 of the series, where Robert will be tackling the bodywork on that panel. I'll help him out a little bit, but he's a much better body man than I am, so I'll just be behind the camera letting him do his thing and, making magic happen and making it look awesome. So really looking forward to that. Hope you'll join us then. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you next time.